I was 8, third grade. Does it look like me?
Spitting image.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Just happens to say 1960. I grew up in Illinois, and when I was a little girl, we lived on a river. So this is me and my older sister at the river. So this was probably 1960. I was born in 1961, so this is probably 1964. I look like I was 3. I'm on my dad's lap. And here's me sitting on the floor with my sisters. This is all right around the same time. So these are all just the same pictures. This is a picture of my father swinging on a rope swing that we had that went out over the river.
That's cool.
This is all river stuff. River. This is a barbecue with my grandparents. I'll show you that in a minute. These are all river pictures, just to show you that's where we live. This is all in the home or right around the same time as the river. Okay.
Okay. Second question.
Yeah.
Can you describe the place where the story happened?
So we lived on the river. My older sister, Aunt Julie, could ride a bike, so she must have been 4 or 5. And we were always told to stay away from the creek. So up the road, we lived on the river. All the houses were lined up at the river. They all faced the river, and the embankment was really steep. And we didn't go near the river. We were warned not to because it was dangerous. You know, you can imagine. There was no fence. It just went straight down to the river.
Was there like a strong current in the?
Yeah, it only went one direction. If you got in the river, you would keep going, and they would find you somewhere else you're not supposed to be. But we were told not to go to the creek. So if you go down the road about 5 houses, the road dips down, and there's gravel on the sides of the road, and that's where, of course, we wanted to go because we were told not to go there. So you want to hear the story?
Sure.
So my sister rode a bike, and it was red. I think all bikes were red back then. I don't know. It was red, and there was a flat thing on the back, and I would ride and hold on to the seat.
Oh, okay.
And put my feet kind of on the axle of the wheel or on the chain guard.
Yeah.
And I was always told to have my shoes on, but of course we ran around barefoot because we could. And we went to the creek and came back, and on the way back my toe got caught in the spoke probably.
Oh.
Yeah, and it wasn't like really bad, but we were trying to be all stealth and sneak back to the house because we had been at the creek playing, catching frogs and wandering around thinking we were like, I don't know, Indians or something, because Indians were big when I was a kid. Yeah, we always looked for arrowheads. We lived right across from a cornfield, and we would go on the edges of the cornfield and dig around in the dirt, and you could find Indian arrowheads.
That's cool.
Very cool. I have a few.
Can you describe the other people who were a part of this story?
So my older sister was, this is me and my older sister, and this is at the river, and this is, the town was called Martinton, town named after Martin, I guess, and apparently we got along really well until we didn't. I mean, you know how siblings are, you like each other and then you don't. We had a crazy cat that was called Gentle, that wasn't gentle at all and would scratch, just, never knew. This is my grandparents. This is another picture taken at the river. This is me with my head right next to the piece of meat. I know. And so yeah, this is my mom at that time. She was very beautiful, and she's with her mom, and they're doing mom's daughter stuff in the kitchen.
So pretty.
At the river. And we were just regular kids looking forward to Christmas, looking forward to whatever fun we could have. Oh, and here's the not so gentle cat.
Oh.
Yeah. So apparently we had this cat from my kitten.
Oh, stinky.
So, you know, my mom did regular mom stuff, you know, hanging out with her sister and her cousin and drinking beer and laughing it up and sitting on the steps. And that's my Aunt Vivian. She's the one that my family says that I'm most like. My Aunt Vivian. She was just kind of a cut up. These are my parents. They were just two really pretty people.
Okay. What was school like when you were a kid?
School for me was, it was not a nice environment. There was a lot of rules. The teachers they didn't know how to talk in a nice voice.
Yeah.
My first grade teacher she was horrible. I still remember her name. She was not nice. She should not have been teaching, or even working with children. Yeah, I won't name her. I don't want to give her name any airtime at all, because she was not a nice person. She was quite unkind and shaming. I had a third grade teacher who was wonderful. I think I made this in her class.
Yeah, it says third grade on the back.
I think she may have been my second grade teacher. So some of the teachers that I had were really great. We had a lot of art. We had a lot of music.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked to school by myself,
Mm-hmm.
starting in kindergarten. Can you imagine your sister walking to school by herself and back?
Jeez.
Different world.
Yes, very different. Okay, when you were a kid, what was your favorite thing to do that cost absolutely no money?
I was outdoors and in trees all the time. My favorite thing to do was to climb to the top of a very tall tree and watch my friends who were looking for me if we were playing hide and seek, because I'd be in the top of the tree just kind of swaying. And nobody thought to look up in the top of the tree. So that was my favorite thing to do. With hide and seek, ding dong ditch 'em. Don't ever do that. And we didn't play kick the can, but we had some other. And in the winter time, a friend of mine would leave his garden hose running all night and freeze their driveway, and we would pretend to have fun while we were driving over really lumpy ice, or skating over really lumpy ice. So.
Okay, what were your favorite hobbies or things to do when you were a kid?
You know, I didn't mention the fall. My dad used to rake big piles of leaves and we'd jump in them. That was the best. Oh my gosh. And also we had big metal trash cans with holes in them. And of course, after we were done pulverizing the leaves, he would throw them in the trash can and they burned them. And those leaves smelled so good. They don't do that anymore either, because apparently it damages the ozone layer.
Yeah.
Something like that. But the smells were wonderful. But being outdoors, sledding was amazing. We would find creeks and rivers and catch toads and walk around barefoot. And I would walk miles from home at your age. I was gone all day from after breakfast until the lights came on. That was the rule. You got to be home when the lights came on.
What celebrities, if you had any, did you look up to when you were a kid?
I don't know if I really looked up to celebrities. My mother valued beauty and my father valued intelligence. And I liked comedians who were intelligent. That was some of my fun. Carol Burnett was amazing. Victor Borga, about the same age as this. My last name is Borg, B-O-R-G. And I added an E to my name, and I actually got in trouble at school. They called my parents. Like, are you kidding me? They called my parents to say she's being rebellious and putting this E after her name. Nobody asked me why, and it was because this comedian, Victor Borga, and your mom will show you a video, is amazing. He does this punctuation video that's so good. Anyway, wanted to identify with that comedian. They were wonderful comedians. Flip Wilson, a black comedian, he was amazing, and he had this character that he called Geraldine, and he would put on this wig and put a dress on, and it wasn't about cross-dressing or being, changing his gender identity. It was really about just, he was hilarious because he was such a bad woman. He would say, "The devil's gonna get you!" Oh my gosh, he was the best. But of course, we'll get to the music part. I'll wait.
What movies or TV shows did you like best when you were a kid?
Oh my gosh. I came home, I zoomed home every day after school to watch, and it was in order, I'm not sure which order it was in. Gilligan's Island, The Lucy Show, and Flintstones. There was another one called Dark Shadows, which was actually a vampire movie with a werewolf, and nobody ever got bit or whatever. There was never any drama. It was just a lot of dark shadows and creepy music. It was a soap opera. Dark Shadows. It was hilarious.
What music bands, musicians, or singers did you like best?
Oh my! So I basically grew up with Michael Jackson. I was the same size within a year or two of age of him, and so the Jackson 5. Elvis was huge, even though he was my parents' age. He was huge when I was little. Raquel Welch was this very, very beautiful actress, Italian actress, and I loved her skin color and just how expressive she was.
Can you please describe your family when you were a child?
Well, again, my parents were two very beautiful people. They were both second-born people, so they both looked up to their older siblings. So it colored who they are, and it colored our whole family too. My mom had an idea of what she wanted, but she didn't know how to make that family work.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of fits and starts. We went to church every Sunday. We piled in the car and went to Catholic church. I had my first communion. I can still go into church and still do all the stand-up, sit-down, kneel, and most of the responses because they haven't changed. And my dad played sports. My mom stayed home. My dad worked. My mom stayed home. My mom sewed some clothes for us, and she liked to dress us all the same. But she was a stay-at-home mom.
Can you please describe your family you developed when you were an adult?
Can you ask that one more time?
Yes. Can you please describe your family you developed when you were an adult?
My own family.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a deep one. I didn't care for my family system, and so I thought I'm just going to change my family system. It didn't work out the way I thought, but I wanted to have a big family. I saw my dad came from 8 kids, and I thought that's what happiness looks like, a big family. And so I decided I'm gonna have 12 kids. And so when I met Gwampa, I told him I want 12 kids. If you give me a house with 12 bedrooms, I'll fill up every one. And he pretty much said, okay, game on. And so we had a big family, but we kind of didn't know what we were doing because it wasn't modeled for us what to do. My parents divorced when I was your age. And my dad took all the rules with him, and there was like no rules, so I raised myself starting from age 12 on. So I became a parent when I was 19. So imagine being a dad in 7 years.
Dang.
Right. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared, but I found people around me that I liked the idea of what they were doing with their family, and I did that, and that worked for about 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that answer the question?
Yes.
Did it? I don't know. Did that answer the question?
Sure.
Right.